Okay, we're out here at Lancaster at a vintage Chevy van storage facility, and we are looking at a Vanity Junior vintage Chevy van. At least that's the plan. So it's been sitting here for a while. I want to give a little walk around on this. Obviously the tires are a little bit flat, and even though it was closed up, it is pretty dusty in here. Got a fairly decent size hole in the roof, and they have this vent right here. Also, there's all of this insulation and battle this out of the way. This cushions, maybe there's a couch or something. Got a fair amount of upholstery to it. One more look at the roof. Got one of those bows cut out, one of those overhead ones to make room for that. Okay, let's look around in the back. Panel doors on the back, little ladder. Looks like they eliminated the door handle, so you can only open that from the inside, if at all. And might as well, the back doors will come open. All I gotta do is pull on them. So let me see the roof here. Okay, so we got some roof issues here. They got a fridge. Looks like they're making, they have some camper type arrangements, sink, some other stuff here. Maybe an overhead console. Somebody put some work into this. Okay. Insulation in the doors. Some gap issues there. Chevy van 108. So needs door stop check swings on both sides. And looks like we've got 350 with a broken shroud. No carburetor. Don't know where that is. So it's gonna be hard to get that to fire. HEI. Uniform color on the paint for that engine. I don't know what that is. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. Boink. Boink. Oh, battery isolator. Zoom out. Okay, shifter on the floor. Have to check that out. Got some lights on the dash, little switch. Nice dash pad. Okay, so we're here with the Vanity Mobile. This vehicle has been parked for quite some time. And, all right, pull that wire,
Yes, move it.
Now that's what happens when you have a short. There's some wire over here that is getting hot, and that's not good. We don't know what that wire is to. So at this point, I don't think we're even safe to crank this thing over. Okay, so Jose hooked up the cables to the battery backwards, but in his defense, it was what I told him to do based on me thinking that red was positive when apparently it wasn't. So we only just smoked a little bit of wire, and anyway, we've got the positive and negative properly identified now, and we are going to go ahead and try to hit the key and spin this over, see if it even turns over. And in case it starts pumping fuel, we've got our Cal Custom coffee cup here to receive all the varnished fuel that we can handle. So here we go. Key is in there, run position, and the fire department is standing by. We're hoping this is in neutral or park. We've got their Mickey Mouse, well, it's not Mickey, but they got their shifter all the way forward and locked. So here's it going to tap first. Ooh, so the motor does turn over. Shall we spin it over for about 5 seconds? Ooh, that sounds... I
heard compression.
Yeah, so we are going to put some fuel in there and adjust our throttle and hit it again. I'm feeling pressure here, so it's like it's... All right. Okay, that's good news. The engine does rotate. It does spin over, and it does seem like there's some compression in there. So next thing I want to do is check for some spark. And here we go. I'm not seeing any spark. Okay, so with the HEI system, there's one wire going to it. No, this looks suspiciously like somebody should have done that. So we are gonna get out our test light and see if we got 12 volts going to the BAT side of this distributor. If not, then we're gonna run a hot wire to it. So on the outside of this, there's BAT and TACH. That's BAT and TAC. And all we really need is 12 volts to the BAT wire, and that should energize this distributor. So check for spark. Let's go ahead and just do that for the camera real quick, so that hopefully you can see the spark and what you're looking for. So we are getting spark, and so now what we're going to do is we are going to give it a little bit of fuel and then restrict the intake. That extra spill in fuel, that's just to help any fire along. And we're just going to restrict the amount of air going in there a little bit and hit the key again. Okay, well, that's pretty good for a priority mail cardboard throttle and a water bottle container full of gasoline. So what that tells me is that it probably will run. The next thing I would want to do is throw a carburetor on there and get a little bit more precise on fuel and air metering. So we might try that in just a minute. Okay, so we've got a nice carburetor on here, a loaner, and we've got the fuel line hooked up. It is sitting in like a 1 gallon container down low. We've checked to make sure that it's pumping fuel, and it is pumping fuel. We've dumped a little bit of fuel in there, and so we are going to hit the key. We've got spark. Now we've got some way to control the air and fuel, and we're going to see if this thing can run for a consistent amount of time. And here we go. That did not sound terrible. Okay. Well, how are we doing on time?
3:12.
Okay, so in a couple of minutes, as far as I'm thinking, that's not terrible. It didn't have any major noise, but we also didn't get a lot of even idle down when we were doing our crude power balance test by just pulling a spark plug wire. So could be low compression, could be fouled plugs. I think the next step would be something like a compression test, and maybe put it in gear and see if the transmission wants to rock one way in reverse. But before we do that, I wanted to put some air in the tires and discuss with my fellow technicians the way forward. Okay, we have got some big rocks under a couple of the wheels, and what we're going to do is we are going to start this up and put it in gear and see if we get a little bit of a bump forward or a bump reverse. We've got air in the tires because they were getting really flat, and we're not going to move this too far at all. That's the plan, because we are drawing fuel from a fuel can that's underneath the front of the vehicle. So I will get ready to start it. Our assistant here will cut the throttle, cut the ignition if... Okay. Just the last thought in my mind. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we got a nice reverse bump out of that, but I wasn't able to shift this into drive. So maybe I'm not doing it right, or I got to push down or something else like that. But if you got reverse, that's pretty good. That means that there is a transmission that is alive, even though I know you're supposed to check these when they're running. I'm not getting any fluid on this at all. I mean, it's just totally dry. So I don't want to push it too far. So I think that is pretty much it for the diagnosis until we can run a compression test, maybe put a vacuum gauge on there, but we're not getting an even power drop, or it doesn't seem like it's evenly dropping the idle when we did that disconnecting of the spark plug wires one at a time. So compression test, throw a vacuum gauge on there, and get some transmission fluid. So probably for another day.